Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dave TV. I'm not wearing camo. That's right. I'm just doing this in my PJs. How y'all doing, everybody? Dave TV. We're back to the old set today because I'm doing some work on the other computer there, and so I thought I'd just bring the little camera, over. I can't take a picture of the camera, can I? So, but here's the camera's here, and there we are. See, there's the let's see. There's the I don't think this is long enough. It's not long. But anyhow, the other computer's in there doing some other work, so in the other room there. So what the heck? So how y'all doing, everybody? It's the 12th. The 12th of May. Haven't done a Dave TV for a couple of days because, frankly, there's just not been a lot of big news. It's been kind of slow, but I thought I would talk about some interesting news from last week. Remember Michael Graham? Michael Graham used to be, WMAL has a slot from like 9 in the morning to noon where they put this kind of crazy people. It's the crazy slot where they put the crazy people on that go on and scream and yell and, all this other stuff. Anyhow, right-wingers, basically. And so they used to have a guy named Michael Graham on that slot. And so Michael gets fired back in 2005. I forget what he said. He met some dispute about Muslims and Muslim religion, Islamic religion, whatever, and he got a big dispute with the Council on American Islamic Relations, and he gets canned. So he's kind of wandering around the broadcasting business for a number of years, has a bunch of different gigs, and one of them includes at a Boston radio station, which he was fairly successful at. But the problem was the Boston station's ratings weren't very good, so they went in the tank, and the station flipped to some sort of a contemporary hit format. So he was out of that gig, and he's been, putzing around doing some small things. Well, anyhow, the big news last week was that Michael is now going to work down in Atlanta at Cumulus. Cumulus, now interesting what's going on at Cumulus. Cumulus are the people that currently own WMAL, okay? WMAL, they didn't own Cumulus. Cumulus didn't own WMAL back when Michael Graham was canned because they didn't take over WMAL till, 2011 or something like that. Anyhow, Michael Graham goes down to Atlanta, and there's a guy by the name of Randall Bloomquist. Randall comes from the Washington area. I think he used to write, what did he write? One of the radio trade public, he wrote a radio column for, I think, the Post or something like that for a while, and then he worked for a bunch of trade public, I think Radio and Records or something like that. He wrote for somebody. I can't remember who. Anyhow, but then he got in the radio business, and then he worked for a number of years in Richmond and Charlotte, and then he came up to Washington. I believe he was program director at WMAL back when Michael Graham was working there. So now, fast forward, we have Randall Bloomquist now working in Atlanta, and he's now the head of news talk operations for Cumulus. And so Michael Graham comes down, and Randall says, they're old buddies, apparently, and he says, hey, got a job for you. Why don't you do this? So what happens is in Atlanta, Cumulus started an all-news station, WYAY 1067, All News 1067, something like that. They realized that all news, even though Atlanta doesn't really even have an all-news station to begin with, it's not a big popular format in Atlanta. The big news station in Atlanta is WSB Radio, which is a news talker, kind of like what WBAL in Baltimore is, where you have like news in the morning and afternoons and then talk. Well, so anyhow, Cumulus is realizing they're not getting the ratings they really want. In fact, but it does. This station in Atlanta, 1067, the all news that was started a few years ago, is getting better ratings than WNEW gets here, but they're suddenly realizing, we need to put talk on it too, not just news. So they're taking like the midday format, putting on talkers. So they decide to take the 9 to noon shift and get rid of the news and put Michael Graham in there. So that's what's the big news is. So Michael Graham back down with his good buddy, Randall Bloomquist, down there in Atlanta on this station that's going from news to talk, basically, Cumulus station. So it's interesting to see just how Cumulus runs, and I don't know. The interesting thing, though, I thought was Chris Plante. Chris Plante was the guy that came to Washington. He's been in Washington, whatever, I don't know. Took over the 9 to noon slot on WMAL after Michael Graham left. And I'm just wondering why they didn't just plop Chris Plante in the 9 to noon slot on WYAY in Atlanta. I don't know. It seems like that would be cheaper. The C in Cumulus stands for cheap. You know, this company, that's what the C stands for. Cumulus, cheap friggin' radio. And it just seems to me it would be so much cheaper to take Chris Plante and just put him on the air down there too, and not have to hire somebody new. Unless, of course, maybe they're thinking, maybe Michael Graham is better than Chris Plante, and maybe we'll get Michael up on the air, and then maybe we'll get rid of Chris somewhere down the line. I don't know. Interesting. So anyhow, it's just interesting to see this kind of playing out down there in Atlanta with Michael Graham and Randall Bloomquist. Love in Atlanta. All right, folks. As I said, I'm trying to keep these Dave TV short and to the point. We're hitting the 6-minute mark here, so maybe that's, whatever. Mike Landess. Heard from Mike Landess. Remember Mike Landess used to be an anchor? He used to be a top anchor on Channel 5 here in Washington. Back with Tracy. Remember Tracy Neal? They had a really killer newscast back there in the early 2000s. Anyhow, Mike Landess left the station, went back to Denver, where he came from, and got a top job at KMGH in Denver. Well, he just announced that he's leaving KMGH. News Blues, if you look over there, it's kind of like, did he jump or was he pushed? You know, he's getting kind of old, and maybe they're trying to make the newscast youth-oriented, whatever. So there's some hints that he got pushed. And, we ran it as a retirement thing, but apparently Mike is now emailing us saying, no, I'm not retiring. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to stay in the broadcast business. I'm not done yet, even after being in the biz 50 years. So Mike tells us that he's going to continue. Could he come back to D.C.? I guess so. I don't know. I don't think too many people remember him, actually, because it's funny, when I ran the post, we didn't get a lot of people going, oh, yeah, I remember Mike and Tracy there at Channel 5. They've kind of been forgotten. Remember Tracy Neal? Then she left. Then I think they paired her with Morris Jones for a number of years, didn't it? Was that before or after? I don't remember. But that was also a pretty good top newscast. And then eventually Tracy left Channel 5, went to Channel 9, and then she just bombed over there. I mean, it just went nowhere. And then she left and living in the Bahamas now or something. And, of course, Morris Jones is, for the moment, comfortably ensconced over there at News Channel 8, awaiting the Sinclair Death Star's arrival. Well, I'm hearing rumblings that whole Sinclair thing could fall through, so who knows? We don't know yet. So we'll just have to see how corrupt the FCC is. You know, it's just a measure of corruption of the Federal Communications Commission as to whether this Sinclair purchase of all Britain stations, including Channel 7 News, Channel 8, gets approved, and this whole Comcast Time Warner fiasco, which is a complete effing joke, whether that gets approved, by this, by this corrupt commission called the FCC. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, folks, hitting the 8-minute mark. Thanks for watching Dave TV for the 12th of May, 2014. Don't forget to help support the site. We still have a special. It's unofficial, but, send us, a year of DCRTV Plus, Memory Pack DCR Plus is $29. If you make a $30 donation this month, we'll give you 2 years. That's a whole year for just $1 friggin' dollar. So 2 years of DCRTV Plus, $30. Ends the, that special. It ended a couple days ago, but I'll extend it to the end of the month. If you send me a $30 donation, you get 2 years of Plus. Really cool stuff. Lots of memories. Whatever. We're going to be expanding it pretty soon, putting lots more jingles and lots more videos and all this other cool stuff, and tribute pages and everything else on DCRTV Plus. 2 years of Plus, $30. Click on the support linky dinky at the top of DCRTV. Make a donation. Thanks for watching Dave TV. Book 'em, Dano.